I'm Amy Goodman. You're watching GVTV News.
Thanks, Amy, and I'm Randy Hansen. In today's world news headlines, at least 12 killed in gun attack on French magazine that printed Mohammed cartoons. And White House promises veto of GOP-backed Keystone XL bill. And environmentalists say Obama veto threat on Keystone XL a victory for activism. And Boehner defeats internal GOP challenge to remain House Speaker. And McConnell assumes role of Senate Majority Leader. And House GOP accused of voodoo economics with rule change on tax and budget bills. And former Virginia Governor McDonnell sentenced to 2 years prison term in corruption case. And gunman kills doctor, takes own life at VA clinic in Texas. And FBI probes targeted explosion at NAACP office in Colorado. And New York Transit Authority bans die-ins at Grand Central. And suicide attack kills dozens in Yemeni capital. And Obama pledges support for Mexican drug war in White House meeting with embattled Peña Nieto. And freed Cuban 5-member wife welcomes baby girl conceived during U.S. imprisonment. GVTV News is broadcast on Grass Valley Television, a division of Rural County's television network, whose focus is on community involvement. We also air on NCTV. But before these stories, GVTV News would like to thank one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us. GVTV News. In today's first world news story, at least 12 people have been killed in a shooting attack on a French satirical magazine in Paris. Witnesses say masked Islamic Muslim terrorist gunmen entered the office of the magazine, Charlie Hebdo, and opened fire. Charlie Hebdo has drawn multiple threats for its caricatures of Prophet Muhammad. In 2012, the magazine's cartoon depicting Muhammad in pornographic poses helped spark protests across the Middle East. The outcry forced France to close embassies and other official sites in 20 countries. Charlie Hebdo has repeatedly claimed it published the cartoons as a defender of free expression and against religious extremism. Speaking at the scene of the attack, French President François Hollande said barbaric people had carried out an attack on free speech. New Republican Congress has begun with immediate salvos over the Keystone XL pipeline. On the first day of the 114th Congress, Republican Senator John Hoeven of North Dakota introduced a measure to approve the construction of a project that would move Canadian tar sands oil to the Gulf Coast. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest immediately announced President Obama would veto the Keystone bill if it crosses his desk. And he said, "I would not anticipate the President will sign this piece of legislation. We promised, we indicated the President would veto similar legislation that was being considered by the previous Congress, and our position on this hasn't changed. Again, there's a well-established process that should not be undermined by legislation." Even if the bill passes and Obama ends up using the veto, Republicans have vowed to make Keystone a top priority in their newfound control of Congress. Next step could be to attach Keystone's approval to a wider bill containing measures Obama supports. White House says President Obama continues to await a State Department review and Nebraska court ruling on the Keystone XL's route. In recent public comments, Obama has voiced increased skepticism of Keystone XL, questioning its benefits to most Americans as well as its impact on the climate. Environmentalists have praised Obama's veto threat. In a statement, the Rainforest Action Network said that this is a testament to the dedication and resolve of millions of grassroots activists who have fought to stop this pipeline against all odds. Center for Biological Diversity added, "It encouraged to see President Obama stand up to the bullies in Congress who want to ram this project through. Here's hoping this is the first step towards killing this project once and for all." As Republicans caught their first glimpse of a showdown with President Obama in the new Congress, they are also locked into internal struggle of their own. Just after lawmakers were sworn in, House Speaker John Boehner defeated an attempt from dissident Republicans to oust him from his post. 24 Republicans voted against Boehner's speakership, while one abstained, the highest number from a speaker's own party in decades. Congress members Louis Gohmert of Texas and Ted Yoho of Florida led the challenge. In response to the failed ouster, Boehner retaliated by removing several lawmakers who opposed him from influential House committees. Meanwhile, in the Senate, 34 senators are sworn in, 13 of them at first time. Republican Senator Mitch McConnell assumes the job of Senate Majority Leader. And he said, "Today is an important day for our country." Many senators took the oath this afternoon, 13 for the first time, and new Republican majority accepted its new responsibility. "We recognize the enormity of the task before us. We know a lot of hard work awaits. We know many important opportunities await as well. I'm really optimistic about what we can accomplish." In its first vote, the Republican-controlled House approved a major rule change that could make it easier for them to advance tax cuts for the wealthy. The passage of the so-called dynamic scoring will force congressional statisticians to alter how they calculate the cost of major tax and budget bills. Joint Committee on Taxation and Congressional Budget Office will now have to weigh the anticipated revenue from potential economic growth that could result from legislation. Democrats have denounced the effort as voodoo economics and will hide the actual cost of tax cuts that Republicans want to pass. In Virginia, former Republican Governor Bob McDonnell has been sentenced to 2 years in prison following his conviction last year on corruption charges. McDonnell and his wife are found guilty of receiving more than $140,000 in exchange for promoting the donor's products and providing other favors. McDonnell's 2-year prison sentence is far less than the minimum of 10 years recommended by the federal probation office. Speaking outside the courtroom, McDonnell said that he regrets his actions, but then announced he would appeal and said, "As I said in court, I am a fallen human being. I've made a mistake in my life. I've always tried to put the best interest of the people first as governor, but I have failed at times, and some of the judgments that I have made during the course of my governorship have hurt myself, my family, and my beloved people of Virginia, and for that I am deeply, deeply sorry. I also want to say that I disagree with the verdict that was rendered by the jury in this case, and we intend to file an appeal in the United States Fourth Circuit Courts of Appeals, either later today or in the morning." McDonnell was initially offered a plea bargain, but opted instead to go to trial. His defense strategy largely entailed placing the blame on his wife Maureen, who, as a non-public official, could not have been convicted of corruption charges on her own. Maureen McDonnell will be sentenced next month. Bob McDonnell has been ordered to report to prison February 9th. A gunman has opened fire at a Veterans Affairs Medical Center in El Paso, Texas, killing a doctor before taking his own life. Shooting sparked an hour-long lockdown. No details about the gunman or the victim have been released so far. The FBI says it's investigating a deliberate explosion outside the Colorado headquarters of the NAACP, one of the nation's most prominent civil rights groups. An improvised explosive device was detonated on the NAACP's building's wall in Colorado Springs Tuesday morning. Gasoline can placed nearby did not ignite. No one was wounded in the attack. Authorities say they're searching for a person of interest in the case, described as a male in his 40s. Transit authorities in New York City have banned die-ins at Grand Central Station after a month of daily protests. In a die-in, activists lie down on the ground as if they are dead. Protests have occurred every night at Grand Central since the grand jury chose not to indict New York police officer for the killing of Eric Garner in a banned chokehold. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority, or the MTA, says it will begin enforcing rules to bar people from lying on the ground inside Grand Central. Die-in protests continued on Tuesday with a vigil inside the terminal. And around 40 people have been killed and dozens more wounded in a car bombing in Yemen's capital of Sana'a. A suicide bomber driving a minibus apparently targeted a police academy filled with students and recruits. Attack appears to be the latest of the Al-Qaeda fighters against the Houthi Shiite fighters. And President Obama hosted Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto at the White House on Tuesday amidst a continued political crisis in Mexico over the disappearance of the 43 students. Peña Nieto praised Obama's recent executive action on immigration, while President Obama said he backed Mexico's drug war. He said, "Our commitment is to be a friend and supporter of Mexico in its effort to eliminate the scourge of violence and the drug cartels that are responsible for so much tragedy inside Mexico. We want to be a good partner in that process, recognizing ultimately it will be up to Mexico and its law enforcement to carry out the key decisions that need to be made." Outside the White House, a group of demonstrators gathered to call for the U.S. to cut funding to Mexico over its failed to investigate and prosecute abuse by state security forces. And a Cuban intelligence agent freed by the U.S. last month and his wife have welcomed a baby girl who was conceived during the time in prison. Gerardo Hernandez, the father and one of the three former Cuban intelligence agents released as part of the prisoner swap amidst the thawing ties with Cuba. While he was not allowed conjugal visits, Hernandez was able to impregnate his wife, Adrian Perez, by having his frozen sperm transferred to her in Panama. The process was authorized by the U.S. officials, funded by the Cuban government, and facilitated by staffer for Vermont Senator Patrick Leahy. Some called it the diplomatical conception. And that's it for the World News Today. Now another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News. That's right, it's time for the police blotter. Pictures in the blotter not from these actual events, but used for visual aid only. These public records are obtained from daily logs issued from Nevada County law enforcement. Grass Valley Police Department on Monday, 8:39 a.m. A caller from 700 block of Sutton Way reported two men arguing who slapped each other. 9:53 a.m. A caller from business 400 block of South Auburn Street reported a drunken woman who would not awake, whose dog was sick from alcohol left out in the room. A report was taken. At 12:05 p.m. a caller from Silver Springs High School reported two minors with bruising. At 12:30 p.m. a caller reported child abuse. At 1:31 p.m. a caller from 900 block of Taylorville Road reported theft of multiple items by an employee. And at 2:46 p.m. a caller from Tinloy and Bank Streets reported lawyers. A man was arrested on a warrant. At 3:28 p.m. a caller from 1300 block of East Main Street reported a man came into the store and asked about their robbery protocol. And 4:25 p.m. a caller from North Star Place reported theft of morphine. And 4:46 p.m., a caller from 1400 block of Sedgeworth Way reported 2 or 3-year-old girl left unattended in an apartment. At 8:30 p.m., a caller from 400 block of Colfax Avenue reported rear plates were stolen from a vehicle. And Tuesday, 1:38 a.m., a caller from 100 block of East Berryhill Drive reported a person in a Jeep throwing cylinder-type objects. It was a person delivering newspapers. 3:45 a.m., a caller from 900 block of Way reported a man trying to take a vehicle. At 4:51 a.m., the caller reported he was inside the vehicle, was retrieving his property. Nevada County Sheriff's Office on Monday, 8:04 a.m., a caller from 11,000 block of Pleasant Valley Road reported someone tried to break into an office. At 8:28 a.m., a caller from a business 12,000 block of Loma Rica Drive reported a burglary. At 9:49 a.m., a caller from 17,000 block of Penny Court block reported the theft of items from a residence. At 10:54 a.m., a caller from Oak Drive reported suspected drug activity. At 12:19 p.m., a caller from 13,000 block of Thorn Lane reported an embezzled vehicle. 12:47 p.m., a caller from Highway 49 and Shoshone Trail reported a man lying in a trail. He was arrested on suspicion of being under the influence and of a controlled substance and possessing drug paraphernalia. 1:50 p.m., a man from Oak Way reported his dog's retina had been implanted with locators by the CIA. He was referred to the FBI. 2:06 p.m., a caller from 17,000 block of Jayhawk Drive reported theft of firewood. And 2:57 p.m., a woman from Del Mar Way reported the man attacked her. She was uncooperative when the deputy arrived. 3:25 p.m., a caller from Atolia and Bloomfield and Graniteville Roads reported a Dish Network worker was stuck in the mud but refused help and was slurring his words. He was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence. Under the 4:44 p.m., a caller from Rough and Ready Highway reported possible drug activity. 5:52 p.m., a caller from Boca Quest Drive and Purdon Road reported fireworks. It was quiet when deputies arrived. At 6:02 p.m., a caller from 12,000 block at Crescent Drive reported people riding motorcycles on private property without permission. At 8:04 p.m., a caller from Lower Colfax Road reported a missing teen. At 8:47 p.m., a caller from Patricia and Alexandra Ways reported a man passed out in a ditch who could not be located. At 9:19 p.m., a caller from Honeysuckle Lane reported finding meth in a residence. 11:41 p.m., a caller from Bar Hill Road and Penn Valley Drive reported loud music, screaming, yelling, and loud vehicles. At 1:33 a.m., a caller reported hootering and hollering and a loud diesel truck. And that's it for the blotter today. Now another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News. In today's local news headlines, former judicial candidate arrested in Poway home. Nevada City grants more micro-enterprise funds to local businesses. In our first story, attorney Jeffrey Lake, who made an unsuccessful run for Nevada County Superior Court judge in the June primary, was arrested last week in connection with a large party involving underage drinking at his San Diego County home. Lake, whose primary law practice is in San Diego, represented Americans for Safe Access Nevada County locally in its effort to block the county's controversial medical marijuana cultivation ordinance, which was enacted in 2012. Nevada County court records show that Lake last represented a client in a local case in 2013. Last year, Lake ran against Assistant District Attorney Anna Ferguson, Federal Prosecutor Robert Tice Raskin, and Superior Court legal attorney Angela L. Braddock and long-term local attorney Jeffrey Ingram for the seat that was being vacated by retired Judge Sean Dowling. During his campaign, Lake alluded to being known for medical marijuana advocacy by sending out a campaign mailer that read, "Who do you want judging you? A federal prosecutor, a district attorney? Cultivate your rights, vote Lake for Superior Court judge." At the time, Lake said he was splitting his practice between San Diego and Nevada County, but would move here full-time if elected. He also stated that he wanted to carry on Dowling's legacy of high ethical standards, incredible preparation, and professionalism and fairness. Lake made headlines in San Diego County after news broke that he was present during a party for his 18-year-old daughter, who reportedly involved as many as 200 teenagers, according to Poway News Chieftain. The party had a Playboy Mansion theme, according to social media photos posted by some of the attendees, and included scantily clad teenage girls and underage drinking. Lake, 48, was arrested Friday for allegedly violating the city's social host ordinance, said San Diego Sheriff Lieutenant J.T. Faulkner. The ordinance makes it illegal to provide an environment where underage drinking takes place, regardless of who provides the alcohol. Lake was booked into county jail and released after posting a $200 bail. Further legal proceedings will be handled by the San Diego City Attorney's Office under a standing agreement with the city of Poway. Faulkner said that Lake met deputies outside and reportedly told them they needed a warrant to enter his home, which isn't the case. Upon entering, deputies reportedly found a 19-year-old passed out in a bedroom closet covered in luggage, and a 16-year-old boy passed out in a bathroom. 16-year-old had urinated on himself, and Faulkner and his mother took him to Pomerado Hospital for evaluation. Minors found drinking at the party were released to their parents. Lake will be charged $3,600 to cover the cost of the department responding to the call, which includes the time the 5 deputies and the sheriff helicopter that responded to the call. 2 more Nevada City businesses have been awarded $10,000 each through the city's Community Development Block Grant Program, also known as the CDBG, an initiative that was approved over the summer to help local micro-enterprise businesses with training, consulting, and funding. Since November 2014, the program has handed out grants to 6 different local businesses. "I think economic development is a huge animal," Nevada City CDBG manager David Nelson said. "What we do is just one small component of that, and I like to think of it as seed planting. A lot of it is focusing on creating jobs, but we kind of like our niche, where we help or give small micro businesses a chance to take it to the next level. We feel like we're helping." City has been awarded $600,000 for the program in 2012 and given 16 months to conduct training and loan out the money before September 2015 deadline. The program has run through United States Department of Housing and Urban Development and dates back to 1974. Larry Hierman was recently chosen as CDBG's grant recipient for his business, Healing Touch Bowen, which provides soft tissue body therapy to help clients with chronic and daily pain. Harriman opened his office in Providence Mine Road in November and says the grant money will provide a cushion for his operating expense. "I'm really grateful," he said. "It's enabling me to start my business with a lot less concern with having to make a profit right away. I don't have a lot of capital expense, and it just gives me the opportunity to build my business without having to worry about making ends meet while doing it." In order to run the program's elements, the CDBG program awarded contracts to the Sacramento Small Business Development Center for training and local startup incubator Sierra Commons for one-on-one business counseling. The Micro Enterprise Program's training element consists of a series of classes in business basics, business plan guidelines, financial management, marketing, and social media, all of which are free to participating applicants. To qualify, Nevada City business must meet an income requirement based on the business owner's family size, which ranges anywhere from $40,550 to $76,450. Small business also must have no more than 5 employees, including the owner, and has to be based in Nevada City. Applicants determined to be eligible are then assigned training classes and consulting to work on their business plans and financial projections. The program not only offers grants up to $10,000, but loans up to $50,000. Theresa Huck's business, Huck's Hollow Farm, was recently awarded a $10,000 grant and produces organic crackers, baking mixes, and spice blends free of additives and preservatives. Huck says she is looking to expand her product line. The application process was awesome, she said. I was already working on a business plan, and the next thing you know, I was in a class, and the class was phenomenal because not only did they help me get through my business plan, they also gave me better material to use to come up with my projections and numbers. While the grants are a one-time fund for local businesses, the program's aim is to have money make its way back into the local community through the businesses, which will grow and contribute to the local economic pie. Nelson has been involved with the program since 2001 and wrote the grant application that brought the funds to Nevada City. He hopes to extend the program's deadline beyond September of this year. It's a good program. You should check it out. And you can do that at nevadacityca.gov. Get more information.
Seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break.